Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to a UFO edition of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we have Thomas Fessler from Disclosure Tonight sitting in the background, waiting to come live with us. But first, we need to say hello to each and every one of you, including Necessary Dialogue in the gold medal position. Paramarv with the silver, Luscious Jewels taking home the bronze medal tonight. Hi, Kitty Caddywhack. How you doing? T-Bone, my man, thanks for coming on in. As we start off roll call, Sensational Shelley becoming a member. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. And Robert Lamoth, how you doing? Mel WD40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show because Thomas literally says, I'm not doing the show unless the aliens are nice and lubed. So Mel is lubing up the aliens as we speak. Mama Catherine, mwah, I love you, my dear. I hope you have yourself a great night. And moving on down, Mama Catherine. Kat, how you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat as we continue on with our roll call. Hollywood Herald, welcome to SOR Chat. Frankie B, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Thunderhead is here. Thunderhead will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Shane Gord, good to see you. Jaquetta, thanks for coming on in. As we scroll on down on our roll call here. And who do we got? Well, it's Tim Mothman and his goatee. Two separate entities, everybody. It's awesome. Give the goatee a tug for us, Tim. We'd appreciate it. And who is next on our list? Well, let's take a look here. Scrolling on down, lots of good conversation. Desert Rat, how you doing? Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, how are you? Moving on down. There he is, number 39 in your program tonight. Starting in goal from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. John E. Gledhill, how you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. And J-Cat, how are you? J-Cat will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Eye on the World, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. Steve Mateo, welcome to SOR Chat. As we continue on with our roll call here, we will get going. If you're new here, we will get going on the radio side in about 2 minutes. JFJ12, how are you? Integrationing, thanks for coming on in. And Ozzy, how you doing tonight? Thank you for coming on in. Scrolling on down, there's Flubber Lane. And who else is next? Alpine Fur, that's Thomas Rock, everybody. The Thomas Rock. There he is. All right. John Jackson, thank you for joining us. Aussie Boss Tiger and Jerence Carter. Jerence Carter. T-Bone, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you very, very much. Mennonite Abe, nice to see you tonight, my friend. As we continue on with our roll call, Honest Content, thank you for joining us. And where are we here? Benno, nice to see you. Daryl's here. Welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for coming on in. Digger Dog, nice to have you here. And Undead Jed, thanks for joining us. Let's see. I'm trying to go as fast as I can here. Jaquetta, Teo, Edwin Guerra, nice to see you. Gizmo, thanks for coming on in. And Gorgeous Kim Jellin, how's the flossing going tonight? Attorney to the EBEs, good to see you. Chazmataz, thanks for coming on in. Hi, Missouri man. How you doing? I think the rest of you I'm probably going to have to type in, but let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. UFO disclosure, where are we sitting? From the podcast on YouTube, disclosure tonight, Thomas Fessler is here. We are in roll call on our YouTube side. Jay Truth, how you doing? Thanks for coming on in. And who else do we have here? We have, we said all of you. Holy Sun, how are you tonight? Brent Van Owen, nice to see you. And we are 25 seconds away. Cosmic Joe, thank you for that awesome super chat. Greatly appreciate your love and support, my friend. Thank you very, very much. And who else do we have? You can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store on our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin knows. We're together, friends. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Come up north. Enjoy September 18th through 20th with the best paranormal conference in British Columbia. Go to cariboucon.com to get your tickets today. We are going deep into the UFO story for the next couple of hours as the host of Disclosure Tonight on YouTube, Thomas Fessler, will be with us to break down the latest and best news in the UFO world. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another spooky story. We will follow that up with Grant Baker coming on in for the UFO Report. Thomas Fessler is a respected UFO podcaster, researcher, and experiencer known for exploring the mysteries surrounding UFOs, UAPs, alien encounters, government secrecy, and so much more. As the host of the popular UFO-themed program, Disclosure Tonight, Thomas has built a loyal following by diving deep into the eyewitness accounts, disclosure news, whistleblower claims, and the latest developments in the world of unidentified anomalous phenomena. His engaging interview style and passion for uncovering the truth has made him a familiar voice within the UFO community, where he regularly discusses everything from military encounters and abduction stories to hidden technology and extraterrestrial theory. Let's get right to him. From Disclosure Tonight on YouTube, Thomas Fessler. It's been way too long since we've had you here. How you doing, my friend?
I know, Dave. It's been way too long. Absolutely.
For people who may be learning about you, listening for the first time, especially in Radio Land, how did you go from a corporate job to UFO experiencer to alien encounters to now being a popular host on a UFO channel called Disclosure Tonight?
Well, it all goes back to shit that happened. Oh, sorry. I did it again. Goes back to stuff that happened to me when I was a young kid. Yeah, it's 8909. Sorry about that. It started when I was a kid, and between the ages of 5 and 8, and kind of got me brought into this. I wasn't asking for it. As an adult getting into this, there was a podcast out there from a gentleman by the name of Tim Dust called UFO Man. He had a podcast, and I saw what was going on, and it was really rough and needed some help. And I figured, why not? This is something I've been watching, participating in the chat. Let's see if I could go ahead and help the guy out. That went for a bit, and just kind of, we parted ways and everything else. And it was off for me to go on my own and just kind of get it there. And, I went through a bunch of things in my life, and, I've had, a lot of experiences, if you want to call it. And the biggest thing I want to make sure is we can bring out the truth. We can get past all the lies and everything that's going on. And most importantly, we need to make sure this does not become another religion. We have enough.
A lot of people out there, even if they're casually watching the news, have heard this story about UFOs. They have heard that there is something going on. They heard the government is looking into them, and not just the US government, governments around the world, except for Canada, because we're just far out there right now. I don't know what the hell's going on here politically, but that's for another time or story. But when we get to the UFO topic here, a lot of people are wondering whether or not there is something going on. How do you tell the casual person, the layman or the laywoman who really doesn't understand why this story is of significance or importance?
We've got something that's been on this planet probably longer than us. It's everywhere in recorded history, but for some reason, our current government wants to go ahead and keep the fact away from us that there is a higher and more advanced life form that's living on the planet. And we're not the top of the food chain. So we just have to really look at it and saying this isn't about, take out your tinfoil hats and, this is like for the fringe, the people who don't understand. No, this is something that if we could see what was in the skies around us and we could actually unmask all the things that are hidden going on, we would realize this is around us and has been around us for the longest time.
Should we be concerned? And if so, what is the concerns? I put an S on the end of concerns there, if you notice, that we should be watching out for.
No, I don't think you need to be concerned. Honestly, if you look back in history, they've been here on this planet doing their thing, whatever it is, going back through antiquity. We have a life. We have a job. We do things. We come and we go and do stuff, whatever it is. And, if there's interactions, they know how to wipe it out and, go about your life and everything. People could be afraid and say, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. The aliens are coming. Get out your weapons like we love to have in the United States and go ahead and shoot at anything moving in the sky. But, people aren't even reacting like that it's going on. It's, I guess if you get pulled into it from the wrong way, yeah, there's stuff that you would never wish on another person. But for the average person out there and everything, I don't think there's too much to truly be afraid of.
Yet they're selling a threat narrative that if we do not deal with this now, we could be in for a whole world of hurt, pun intended.
Yeah, there could be things coming our way that we're going to have to work with the non-human intelligence that's on this planet with us now in order for us to keep things going like it is. And if that's the case, and we have to make some adaptions and make some alliances to get there, that's fine. But, the government has been covering this up for over 80 years. It's almost over 90 years. If you go all the way back to the crash that happened in Magenta, Italy, that the Italians sent to the United States government to go ahead and keep the Nazis from getting it. So we have to look at it and say, yeah, there's stuff going on around us and there's things going on, but it's been here for a long time. And even though they are up and around, a lot of us just don't see it because they operate in a stealth way, a very shady way. They stay in the shadows. They keep from moving for us to go ahead and see. And they're there, but it's just a matter of, I guess, an awareness we need to have in order to get to that point.
We're talking with Thomas Fessler, host of the YouTube channel Disclosure Tonight, about UFOs tonight. Thomas, there is so much news that has been going out the last number of years, and more recently, a couple of weeks ago, we had the UFO files drop. 163 pages. We're expecting a few more to start coming out recently. I want to go back to those 163 here, because in the middle of that were a bunch of videos, new UFO videos that had been released by the Aero department that is kind of watching over this subject. And my question to you about these videos is, what did you think? Did you think that they told us any story, or are we still in the dark ages?
Okay, we've got videos. The quality is absolutely horrible. There are some cool things that we're going and seeing in the whole bit, but it's kind of like, what's the old story about the Dutch kid in Netherlands, and he goes up to the dike, he's walking along it, and he sees that it's leaking, he sticks his finger in to keep it from going. Well, we're at a point now where little Johnny is taking his finger out and he's walked away. We're going from no water coming in to a drip, which is going to go to a little bit more coming out. And eventually we're going to get a stream coming out. Eventually it's going to break. We're going to get a ton of water, but they're just starting slow. But about the quality of the videos that you're talking about here, let me see if I can do this. I probably can. I'll put this over. No, I can't do that. Damn it. There's videos that just came out from the federal, who is this? From France, where it's a high definition video. It's in 4K, and they've got a Russian jet fighter that was operating in international space over the Black Sea and was dangerously intercepted by Russian military jets as close as 6 meters. The video that I've got at this point goes ahead and shows specifically, if you want to call it, the jet fighters and everything moving around really fast and going ahead and trying to, evade the things that are going on. But this just happened the same day they put out the video. So if they're recording these videos and they have all these encounters, they're giving us the worst, the blurriest, all the video that's out there that we can look at that leaves a lot of questions that people are going to look at it and say, what's up with that? It's grainy. You can't see it. You know what I mean, Dave?
Well, absolutely. And it reminds me of, trying to go to my grandma's house and having to adjust the rabbit ears.
Right.
It's amazing how military propaganda works, though, Thomas, because, when the U.S. is, say, in a conflict or a war with a different country, those propaganda videos of buildings blowing up, of cruise missiles flying by, of the jets firing their missiles, those are pretty darn clear. And yet when it comes to UFOs, we get very grainy type of action.
Yeah.
So,
look at this video I've got on my camera, Dave.
Yeah.
It's high resolution. It's an HD video. You can see the here. And how does that go again? As Lou Elizondo would say, you can see the occupancy of the craft, meaning we've got videos that are this high definition where if you take it and you zoom in, you can see the actual pilot of the craft. And Lou's talked about this information, that's coming from that the government has. There's videos that are 30 minutes long, and he calls it an 8K video. We don't get to see this stuff, Dave. That's the problem.
What do you think the concern, Thomas, is of them showing grainy videos of dots rather than close encounters with real with real focus, with real class to the photo? I mean, this is something that the public wants. They don't want dots anymore. We're a little bit more mature than that.
It's true. It's really true, but some of the videos for the different things that have gone on, sometimes that's all they have. But they've always talked about all the different things have multi-sensors, if you want to call it, where they have more than just their FLIR camera. They have regular cameras and other stuff that goes along with it. We're missing the visual evidence besides the FLIR videos, which are the black and white ones, but we're missing the regular high definition cameras. We're missing all the RF stuff that they're looking at from all these signals that are coming in as they're watching it. So we're getting like a really small, thin piece of what we could actually take in to understand this.
I get that, and I can appreciate that. But, in some of the people that I've talked to behind the scenes who've worked on special access projects or SAPs, they're wondering whether or not the reason why we're getting the videos that we are is because they don't want it perceived on what is a UFO and what is actually our technology?
Yeah, I guess so. We just have to look at it from the situation. I think they just don't want to go ahead and admit that there's something here that's been going on for a long time. The federal government has spent trillions of dollars to go ahead and cover it up. I mean, if there was nothing there, all these FOIA requests and different information would be coming across wouldn't be all blacked out. It wouldn't be all redacted, but it is because they don't want this to come out. And the magic word is national security, folks. Hold on. If you hear the word, take a sip and enjoy. But the reality is anything that goes on that they see, they don't want potentially our adversaries to be what is the term again? Inspired, at least, by anything that we're going to go and share. But the reality is this isn't just happening in the United States. This is a global issue. Everybody is seeing this, but the reality of it is the people that they're really covering it up from, Dave, is me and you and all our viewers.
And that's the big point. And that's the why now question, because this is one question that I don't think anybody has been able to answer properly. And you and I have discussed this years ago, but I think it's still valid. It's the why now question. You know, I mean, I'm not ready to give Tom DeLonge and his two that failed to the Stars Academy credit for trying to bring this out. But since then, in 2017, and then follow that up with the New York Times article that, you know, portrayed the 3 videos and, of course, blew up the 2004 USS Nimitz incident, we have not been told why all of a sudden is this a prioritized subject. Are they coming? Is this aiming for a false flag? What do you think is going on?
Do we have an agreement with the non-human intelligence that was potentially made back in the 50s where we give them something and we get something out of it? Of course, there's always a two-way deal going into this. And by a certain time, we had to go ahead and bring forward the truth for whatever's going on. But, you know, we're talking about governments who don't listen and don't care about listening. Maybe we've gone beyond a date that we're aware of, and we're trying to catch up for what's going on. That would be my thought.
That opens up the question then, you know, because you're talking about the Eisenhower incident, which allegedly happened in 53, 54,
Right.
trading humans for technology.
Yeah.
That opens up the question then, what is to you disclosure?
It started at this point. It's the government acknowledging of what's going on in the skies, in space, what's been going on under our oceans, what's going on over our military bases, and more importantly, that I am concerned about, what is going over the non-military bases, the homeland and everything that's out there, whether it's the homeland of Canada, United States. What are they doing to us is the concern.
Okay. My definition of disclosure is I want everything. I want it all.
We're not going to get it, though.
I know that. But in Dave's world, if Dave actually had some pull in this, and, you know, when I talk like in third person, it makes me sound so much more eloquent, right? But in Dave's world, Thomas, I want to know whether or not Eisenhower made a deal.
Yeah.
I want to know about Roswell. I want to know about,
that.
you know, I don't think we're going to know about Roswell.
You know, anything that they're going to take and they've used for a weapon, or they've used for stuff for national defense, or they may be taking and using it and trying to figure out for the Department of Energy because there's military applications for that stuff, we're never going to hear about. I mean,
so let me hit you up with this one then. You talk to a lot of people behind the scenes. You're pretty well connected. Is Roswell on the plan to come out?
I have not heard, but I'll ask about that.
Because I think there are certain cases that cannot come out.
Why?
Example, Eisenhower trading humans for technology.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, you open up Roswell, you're going to open up the whole can of worms to the crash retrieval programs. You know, even though it's out there, but how many bodies, how many alive aliens were found?
What about Cash Landrum, where there's 2 documented people who were exposed to the radiation from a potentially, it was like a what was it? A pyramid on top of a pyramid, if you want to call it craft. And allegedly this happened down in Texas where they had the craft and they had actually hooked it up to a dirty nuclear reactor, and it had a couple Chinook helicopters going along with it, and it went off course where it was supposed to go, and people got, exposed to heavy doses of radiation from it, and they died. What about that kind of scenario of the people who have been exposed to the different things that's going on and they're no longer with us?
I also wonder about a lot of the programs like NASA. Like if you go back to the release a couple weeks ago, where for years Buzz Aldrin had really denied that anything happened. And now we're learning that one of America's truest heroes was lying to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Never a straight answer. I mean, we had Bet Your Boots, Bill Nelson in there for 4 years, and
Oh, he was such
everything
a
was
joke.
like, yeah, there's nothing out there the whole bit. When we had the what was it, the NASA panel that came together to go ahead and investigate the stuff, as soon as the panel was there and they put it together, they had their first if you want to call it presentation, they shut the whole thing down, and the guy who was running it, they fired, and he was pushed out. So has NASA been trying to push it through? No. I mean, Trump did the right thing. He reclassified it as an intelligence agency, because if you look back to the very start of the space program, it's always been about the military and putting things in space, not just for us to go and explore and be there. It's always been about what are our enemies doing and how can we use this technology for our advantage.
That is very true. Absolutely true. And yet we're hearing, if you look at the NASA files,
Yeah.
we're hearing that, everything from Gemini and Mercury to Apollo
Yeah.
to the shuttle missions to the space station, they had encounters.
Yeah. And they took and painted over the pictures and the negatives, just like that one whistleblower called out 10, 15 years ago.
Donna Hare, yes.
Yeah.
I heard she recently may have passed away.
Oh, that's sad.
I-
Especially
I-
with all the stuff coming out now and proving what she'd said was right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're with Thomas Fessler from the YouTube channel Disclosure Tonight, talking UFOs. Tom, we got about 2.5 minutes before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. This is a topic where the one thing I love about talking with you about this subject is we're just going to jump around. There is no script. We are just going to do it. And, when you look at this topic, what is the biggest concern the public should have looking at this whole UFO subject?
The government, flat out, 100% the government final answer. What they've been doing with them, what they've been doing, trying to shoot them and bring them down and abscond with their technology, what's been going on behind the scenes, what they've been doing to whistleblowers like the recent Kevin Childress they brought up, who someone I was actually communicating with. He was from the Department of Energy. He's another one of the many scientists, or this isn't even a scientist. He was the head of security for one of the sites for DOE, and he was mysteriously, if you want to call it, taken out. So, the government, absolutely. I mean, I hate to say it, I would trust the aliens more than I would trust the government at this point.
It is looking kind of bad. I mean, if the American public, especially, let's focus on the American public, because you guys are the leaders of the world when it comes to technology, when it comes to protection, when it comes to military and disclosure, no matter what. It doesn't matter whether it's China, Putin in Russia, the nut bar in North Korea, or anybody like that. It all comes down to what is going to happen in the United States. I think we can agree on that. Okay, so when we look at that scenario, that it comes down to what happens in Washington, D.C., should we be concerned about how many lies and how disruptive this has been, not only for UFOs, but for the people involved?
It is. It's truly, once something you get pulled into, from, I guess, different people in their professions and different things, they may not have a choice to get involved into it, but some people who do get pulled into it, yeah, it's once you're in it for life, unfortunately or unfortunately. But that's what I like about disclosure, actually finally moving forward, finally getting to the point where we have a president who's wants to do something that's never been done before. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
Hold that thought. From Disclosure Tonight on YouTube, we have Thomas Fessler. We're going to continue with the UFO story. What's expected to come out? Where are we going with this entire phenomena? This is Spaced Out Radio. All right, buddy, we're clear. Remember, our YouTube and podcast audience can hear us. Now you can swear. You can get out now.
Oh, yeah, they can hear us now. We're still good.
Yeah, your goatee's looking good.
Well, it's a goatee with the stuff on the side, so I have to keep the mustache more because that's the only part that's not turning completely gray before I have to do the lutein.
I started this show and I had color in my hair.
Yeah.
All right, quickly here, Mike Rivers, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. I finally get a chance to catch up here. L Evidence, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. Maker of Stuff, nice to see you. Glenn John McEnroe, the pride of Wimbledon, how are you doing? And who else is here? I swear we're going to get caught up here. There we go. I think we're almost there. Oh, Goot, how you doing? Goot. My new favorite name on YouTube, besides Dry Toast.
There you go.
Ben Duped, how you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. Morwick, welcome to SOR Chat. Probably a lot of your listeners here. Crystal Cat, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you, Mennonite Abe. Would you look at that? Would you look at that?
When you look at something like this, you really have to look at that.
Would you look at that?
Just look at it. We've all seen those videos. Yeah, you had bring it up, and
Oh my God.
Yeah. So when people put different things that there's emojis in the messages, I'm picking it up and it goes behind me. If people were wondering, what are those things for?
Really? How do you? Oh yeah, you got all these fandangoed programs that you use.
Yeah. I used to make video games back in the day, so technology and difficult tools that are, that you can run with is one of my expertise. So
I can see that. I can see that.
Bob Perkins is here. Wow, and he's behaving. I had a ban Bob many years ago. I'm sorry I had to do that, but he would just take over the chat and scare everybody else away. We love you, Bob.
Right. Give me 2 seconds here. Where are we?
I think Daryl's out there somewhere. John Gelhill, he's here as well. He's usually in the back, and he's in the front on Disclosure Tonight. J-Cat, of course. She handles our back chat. You know our back chat, like we have like the Google Meet that goes on during the show.
Yeah.
It'll actually go on for like 5, 6, 8 hours after the show ends. You have like 20 people in there all talking and having a great time. It's the show after the show.
That makes it all fun.
Oh, it does.
Are you still enjoying it, dude?
Yeah. Now that something's happening again, yeah.
Good.
But today was hard because we're getting to the point where the news has been so quiet and there's not a lot of stuff to go ahead and talk about. So it's just kind of like, oh gosh, what the heck am I going to deal with next?
Well,
let's hope something happens tomorrow. But if it doesn't, don't be disappointed. And always celebrate for when we hear the words national security. Which sometimes at Disclosure Tonight we'll do a little too much, but that's okay. We've learned. Eat dinner before playing national security.
yeah, of course. A little bit of breakfast before NSA stuff. That's always good.
Of course. But you can't do this at like early in the morning. This is like evening stuff. Although if it does happen tomorrow, I may have to get up and beat you to it because that'd be another episode. But Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I am not getting up tomorrow morning.
Yeah. It's
I,
not worth it.
I've had to work on my day off here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like Thursdays are my days off at work. I get Thursdays and Sundays off.
Yeah.
And it's worn me out.
Yeah.
Hillbilly Herb,
I'm back to 6 days a week again. And I used to have, be like on only Mondays and then Fridays and Saturdays was a
remember that.
relatively easy thing. But going back to 6 days, as long as you stay on a regular basis in the time slot I'm in, yeah, the audience shows up on a regular basis like clockwork. If I were to take it down to 3 days again, I'd lose half the audience.
Right. All right. We got about 10 seconds. Thank you to T-Bone, Joe, Kitty Cattywhack, Benno, Mennonite Abe, and Steve for the super chats. We love your support. Thank you. And here we go. Or do we still have 20 seconds? No, here we go.
Flip it.
We are into the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in as we are talking UFOs with the host of the popular YouTube channel Disclosure Tonight with Thomas Fessler. Before we bring little Tommy Fessler back in, we are going to literally tell all of you that you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Thomas Fessler from Disclosure Tonight, hanging on out with us. We got him for another 90 minutes here on the show. It's always big news when something is breaking, and we are hearing that the NSA has released a bunch of files, apparently 336 files. Is this just the start of all of these different departments that are going to have to release this information?
I think so, but if you take a look at the release from the NSA that came under FOIA request, I think there's going to be a bit more redactions in those kind of requests versus coming from the declassification rate coming from the President of the United States. Because there's little bits in there in the overall files and where they're talking about, and there's some nuggets in there, but the overall majority of the information of every single record that they have in there, the details are all completely redacted. And they'll talk about flying saucers and other stuff, but they say could be balloons or other types of things. So there's some, 340 pages. What do we have in there of detail that's actually recognizable and worth something, Dave? Maybe 10 pages. Now, will the government go ahead and is this the start of it? No, I would say that FOIA request for the NSA is something that they got together and put out. However, I think there's what's coming ahead of us is going to be a lot more complete, a lot less redacted. However, I say it with a caveat. You look at the videos that we're getting that have been leaked by Jeremy Corbell. We've got lat long. We have degree of view. We have all the different stuff, the speed, all the different things that we're seeing within the videos. But in the videos that we're getting from the Trump action and everything that's coming out of the Department of War right now, everything is fully redacted. They're putting little black boxes over everything, so you can't tell where it is, what we're looking at, what direction the compass is pointing in the whole thing. So they're giving us some information, but they're knowingly still trying to keep the details out of it that would help me, you, and everybody else understand what we really what we deserve to know.
What do we deserve to know?
Okay. They, for instance, there's a video of a aircraft carrier off the east coast of the United States that has a giant triangular craft that surfaces next to the aircraft carrier, rises up, and this thing is like the size of a American football field. Rises up and then shoots in the upper atmosphere. Lou Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, other people have talked about this, saying there's nothing on those videos about sources and methods or about our technology or anything else that would keep the federal government from bringing out the videos. Yet we don't have the videos, because after we had the initial videos that Lou put out, we had the UAPTF right after the UAP task force. We had the first report. That was like the best report we ever got out of the government. Right after that happened, they wrote the laws, they changed them. I think Jay Stratton was even involved with it at this point, to go ahead and prevent any images or videos of any UAP craft from actually being released to the public. Now we got ARO, but ARO's been nothing more than a fly pop paper operation to bring in whistleblowers, to get them under new NDAs, to make up excuses for the stories that were going on, and releasing a lot of videos over time where it's all been prosaic and nothing has been, literally out of this world.
Do you think that we've actually taken maybe a little bit of a step backward with the release of these files? And
No.
let me explain here for a second, though. Okay, because the last year and a half, especially, we've been getting into ET contact, aliens, non-human intelligence.
Yeah.
It was even brought up about hybridization programs and all sorts, and alien species. We're hearing this. But with this latest release, it seems to be more back to 2017 with nuts and bolts and craft and heat signatures, all sorts. Do you think we've taken a step back in
No.
what the message is?
No, we have a president right now who is an egomaniac and loves, if he's done, everything he does is bigger, it's better, it's never been done before. He knows that if he brings out this information and delivers it, he will go down in history. He already has, as the president who brought out the truth about UFOs. And that's one of the biggest things that's pushing this. And whether you love them or you hate them, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, disclosure is a bipartisan piece of what we're looking to go ahead and bring this forward. I say what we've got going now is more momentum than we've had since the UAPTF hearing that we had years ago. Everything since then with RO and the administration under Biden, different stuff, we went back in time. So remember when we had the shoot downs, the UFOs,
Yes.
first one was shot down over Dead Horse, Alaska. Then we had the next one over the Yukon. Then we had the next one that was seen over Maelstrom. But then Canada went and shot it down over Lake Huron. We were supposed to get all the details from John Sullivan. I believe he was the national security advisor. We didn't get anything out of that. So, things have happened. But I think since that UAP task force initial hearing and the initial releases of what went on, it's been nothing but a downhill slide. Now, Congress has tried. They've had a bunch of hearings, but you know what they haven't done since they had those hearings? Not one darn thing. Nothing. They didn't try. We had the UAP, the UAPDA, UAP Disclosure Act. They're trying to bring it out. 3 years in a row, it failed, and now they want to do it a fourth time. We lost 3 years of small chunks of UAP legislation that could come out and literally help move disclosure forward. But I swear, Dave, we've been stuck in the mud for the last 3-4 years. And finally, we're getting traction. Finally, things are moving out, starting to move in the right direction. And yes, we got a little bit of stuff to, it's the appetizer. It's before the appetizer. It's the bread on the table. But now we're going to start getting into the courses of it. The first thing was like 150 something files.
Yes.
But one thing interesting, there was that one of the files that was there really caught my attention. There was that one incident that happened up in Wisconsin where they had that craft that was over a lake, and it went and ejected out all this molten material, and some people went and they pulled it out of a tree and stuff, and it's crazy stuff. You know how much material they actually recovered? 20 tons. And that was in the first release. 20 tons of molten material that came out of a UFO that was having problems over a lake that the government recovered. So are we getting more? Yeah. Is that what we want? Is it the big fancy stuff? No, but I think, I'm not going to get too excited because they've lied to us so many times. They've, you get built up. Oh, we've got this new law. We've got this other stuff. We're going to go ahead and enact it. It goes and gets signed. It gets approved. And what do we get out of it? Nothing. No one, and no one is forcing them to go ahead and deliver what is under the law. The last UFO report we got from ARO was over a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. It's supposed to be every year. That second edition of the historical UFO report, the first one was just total garbage that they kicked out. The second one was over. It's like 500 and some odd days due. So, before this happened, we had ARO in place with laws and regulations of what they're supposed to deliver. And they're basically going and, flipping the bird to the American people and to Congress, and they're not delivering. So do I think we're moving forward? Yeah. Is it going forward a little bit now and we're going to see it? Let's see where the next release is going to go and the next one after that, because Lou Elizondo had said recently, what was it? We have tens of millions of documents that need to be released. Now, what is a document? Document is like on your hard drive, on your computer or your SSD, an image, a movie, a 300-page PDF. Each one of those things are documents. And think about this, Dave. We have tens of millions of documents to be released for us to be able to go through, which means that gives us 5 years, 10 years of content at least.
If they release it all, that would be great.
They release it. And Lou had said that we're not going to get everything. We could look at 15 files, and out of those 15 files, 5 of them have to be locked away for national security reasons because of what it's concerning, our use in the military, our use in defense, our use potentially in the Department of Energy, where a majority of this program has been kept silent.
Before the files came out, there was a lot of chatter about all of this technology not being in the government's hands, but being in private contractors' hands, like Lockheed Skunk Works, like Boeing, Raytheon, BAE, you name it, Northrop, Grumman.
Yeah.
It's all there. So it's easy for the government to say, oh, we got nothing. We got nothing. What are you hearing on that part as we look for the parts of these UFOs, these crash retrievals? Because the businesses are private.
Yeah.
They're not susceptible to FOIA requests. Yet it seems that, Anna Paulina Luna came out saying, I want them. I want to go after these guys to see what they have.
But she's not going over the CIA. John Ratcliffe, who's the head of the CIA, was the former director of national intelligence. And at the end of his term, he came out and just did the biggest dump on UFO information that we got from any elected official to date. And he basically told her, well, look for this stuff over here. Look for this stuff over there. You can find some stuff outside of the CIA. But the truth of the matter is the CIA has been working against the Trump administration and the National Secrets Task Force to bring this information out behind the scenes with people in the director of in the ODNI's office. So you have one agency scrubbing for another. We have this stuff over in the CIA that's there, but the real place, we could look towards the defense contractors. They're looking for applications on how they could potentially take some of this technology and maybe apply it into something. Maybe go ahead and use it for our B-2 bomber or our B-2 Spirit or something like that, right? Or look beyond them. Where's the safest and most secret and locked up place in the federal government? It's the Department of Energy. You can't FOIA the Department of Energy. Any FOIA request and release of information from the Department of Energy requires the signature of the president, the head of the DIA, the secretary of the DIA, and the head of the CIA. 3 people required, high levels within the executive branch, just to get any information out. If you remember, John.
Well, let me stop you right there while you're saying that, because as somebody who is a foreigner, hard to believe. There's one little border, and I'm a foreigner to you. What gives the Department of Energy so much power? Because when I think of the Department of Energy, I'm thinking dams, I'm thinking electricity, I'm thinking power. I'm not thinking UFOs. Tell me about it.
Department of Energy was put together to go ahead and handle anything with any kind of power generation or any kind of a nuclear source for any of our nuclear weapons, etc. It's all headed up by by the Department of Energy. And what they did is they took Roswell happened in 47, not that long after we got this stuff going. So they took the UFO information, locked it up in the DOE, and they passed the Atomic Energy Act of 1952 to go ahead and lock up things even more. And if you want to put anything to deal with the deep research, trying to get into craft, remember we had, was it John Lakatsky, who was the head of the OSAP program. He's been on the Weaponized podcast a lot. He's talked about it. He had Q clearance. He got inside of a craft that they breached. And where's Q clearance from? It's not from Lockheed. It's above Lockheed. It's not above any of them. It's in the Department of Energy. That's where the magic, if you want to call it research, has been going on. Now, there may be things that they've pushed with crash retrievals and stuff in different areas to try and go ahead and hide it. In the defense contractors, I think they were trying to do a transfer from Lockheed to Bigelow Aerospace back during the OSAP program, but it was the CIA who stepped in and said, no, you can't go ahead and transfer that information. We want to keep it locked away. Lockheed wanted to get rid of it, but the CIA prevented it. So,
okay, so considering this goes right through not only the military, all of the intelligence agencies, which what are there 15 different intelligence agencies in the United States? Okay, I don't even think I could count 6 of them. Right? Well, I probably could do 6, but definitely not 7. What's the gatekeeping on this? Who are the gatekeepers? Who have you heard?
The executive branch, 100%. And I would say there is a part of the executive branch that survives from administration to administration that is the overseers and architects behind the program that we're dealing with. Whether or not the president is brought into all of it, it's part of the federal government. It's part of the executive branch, because if you look at the organizational tree, that's the only place it could be, because it's going over all the different intelligence agencies across all the different parts of, if you want to call it the military, all the different DHS, for instance, all the alien biologics. It's not controlled by the military. It would be controlled by DHS. Actually, no. It was a DHS. Where is Robert Kennedy at? But anyway,
This Department of Health, isn't he?
Yeah, the health area. And because apparently what happened was with the crash materials that they did get biologics. Those were put into Monsanto Corporation. Think of DeKalb corn and a whole bunch of genetics and everything that's going on. They're also owned by Bayer. They have a facility in Dayton, Ohio that's in, if you want to call it, really close to Wright-Patterson, where supposedly all the initial, if you want to call it, crash materials went to. And over time, they moved from their Dayton, Ohio facility and went down to, where was it? St. Louis, Missouri. And they have a huge cave structure, an underground facility where they're doing all their genetic research and other types of things going on out of the public view. Why would a company who's involved with genetics and deals with, all the corn we have and all the crops we have in America are all, if you want to call it, genetically modified by Monsanto, who's owned by Bayer now. So I'd be concerned about Bayer and what they're doing, because what are they doing with the genetic material? What are they trying to create, and why are they doing it?
But doesn't that go right with what about a month ago Matt Gaetz said publicly, that they are, trying to hybridize humans and aliens at about 14 different bases around the United States?
But Gates doesn't have a filter of knowing who to believe or not. It sounds like he's been hanging out too much with Stephen Greer, to be honest.
Possibly.
Because, there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of great stories and they want to bring stuff across and they want to get them there. And it's just, you have to take what a lot of people say with a grain of salt. Look for facts. Don't get into belief, because if you're believing in things, you're believing in the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or other things in your scope where there is no proof of things. Dave, we need the physical proof.
Well, isn't that what a good alien anal probe is all about? Physical
Although
probe?
I think that's an easier way to interface with our body. If you look at it, there are more neurons in our intestinal tract than there are in our brain. So if you want an easy way to go ahead and interface with the human body and the consciousness, there you go.
There you go.
It's just basic science.
Right there up the wazoo every
Yeah,
time.
like you said, as you said at the start of it, as long as you have enough lube, they'll be fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thomas Fessler from Disclosure Tonight on YouTube is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We got about 4.5 minutes before we have to go to break here. You know, I think a lot of people would be, if they don't really follow this subject, they'd be a little bit shocked to learn, Thomas, of what you just said, that there are very many different groups and authorities that are involved in the UFO case studies. And do you know if they are communicating together, or is each a separate entity on its own?
It sounds like majority of the things that have been going on, the people who are actually in the area and the and different parts are dealing with, they're dealing in stovepipe operations where they're looking at a small piece of it, and a very small number of people actually have the full picture. Now, there are a lot of people who are working on this, but the problem is, Dave, over 90% of the money, the trillions that have been pushed into this, have been spent on 90% of it has been spent on the security to go ahead and keep all of this stuff top secret and to make sure it doesn't leak out. And that may include, some, if people go rogue and things go on, what has been called as the execution clause, the termination clause, whatever it is, that, hey, you said you're going to keep quiet, you didn't, and this is what we're going to do.
I get that. I can appreciate that. It's just hard to swallow that pill, though. It very much is, Thomas. When you think it shouldn't be that convoluted and that complicated, it's aliens. It's aliens.
Yeah.
Why, and the fact that one hand isn't talking to the other because they're afraid to tip each other off to it,
Yeah.
gets a little, you don't think of the government and their departments under one book of the law would be so estranged.
Yeah. But I mean, it really comes down to, you've got something here the government can control. It is doing this thing. I mean, you had Ted Rowe on your show recently, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Ted's been through hell in that stuff and back. And I feel bad for him. I mean, he was the one who talked about one of the times he was, ran into these things and he was paralyzed, couldn't move. And one of the things came down, put the hand over the head and came in with something that was equivalent to a knitting needle, went around his eye and pushed something into the back of his freaking head through the eye socket. He heard it crunch. He was paralyzed, but he could still feel pain. That's the kind of stuff that when you hear about the things that these things do, how they can control space, time, and time space, meaning a craft is 80 feet on the outside, go inside, it's the side of a soccer stadium. You go in there for 4 minutes, you come out, it's 4 minutes later. These things are dealing with a different dimension of time and space, which means they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and there's nothing we can do to stop them, and potentially nothing the government can do to stop them.
Unless there's already a deal in place for it to happen.
Right. Allowing that stuff to go on. And that's why they're only concerned about stuff over the military bases, because they already know what they gave them permission to do. But Dave, could we stop them?
I don't think we could.
No.
Look, if they have the technology to get here from, let's say, Zeta Reticuli, which is what, something like 40 million light years away. Okay, if they've got the technology to get here, they're not worried about any weaponry we have. You know what I'm saying?
But they didn't go point A to point B in a long time. It's like they're there on Zeta Reticuli. They jump into a dimension. They go a little bit. They pop out on ours and they're at Earth. It isn't necessarily like we think we need to go drive the car from here to there. They literally go from point to point and then they're here.
So what you're saying is Bugs Bunny was right all along, always taking that left at Albuquerque.
Absolutely. I always talk about that when Rick Doty's on the show. Yeah, I always joke about that because that's true. You pop in the hole, you pop out someplace else. I mean, and if you hear all the stuff, the language that's coming out of Washington, that's what they've been talking about is interdimensional beings. And if you go back to all the things John Alexander's been saying for years, he's been calling them interdimensional probably longer than anybody else.
That is very true. Very true. Thomas, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break. Hard to believe we're already down 1 hour on tonight's show. We have Thomas Fessler, the host of the ever-popular YouTube channel Disclosure Tonight, talking UFOs all night long. When we come back, yes, the files have come out, but why not just announce that UFOs are here? Why not just announce it? Why not stand at the podium, Mr. President, and make the announcement? What's holding him back? We'll ask Thomas next on Spaced Out Radio. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, Tom, we're going to take a quick break here. I'm just going to play a video. We got about 5.5 minutes, okay?
Sure. Go for it.
All right.
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right. Thank you very much. And Thomas Fessler is here with us. Our super chatters tonight. Thank you, Dutch Hank, Necessary Dialogue, Steve, Mennonite Abe, T-Bone, Joe, Kitty Caddywhack, and Benno. We really appreciate your love and support. Greatly appreciate it. We're going to get to questions here pretty quickly, so make sure you put them in capital letters. Let's see if anybody's jumped in. Red Frog, how you doing? Thanks for coming on in. What in Tarnation? Nice to see you. And Tyler, happy birthday to you, my friend. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tyler. Happy birthday to you, my friend.
But I heard it's already Shelley Montgomery's birthday, too.
Yes. Hold on. We are into hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in. As the host of Disclosure Tonight on YouTube, Thomas Fessler is our guest tonight on the show. Hi to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Ekmanesia. Ekmanesia is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring in our good friend Thomas Fessler. He is the host of the UFO podcast on YouTube called Disclosure Tonight, and we are having a great time with Thomas. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Dave. It's always wonderful to be here with back at the old Space Out Radio family.
Let us get right into it. A lot of people are saying Donald Trump is the disclosure president, where a lot of people are also saying, no, he's not, because he hasn't made the formal announcement that we are not alone in the universe. People want that podium. They want the microphone behind the White House, and they want to hear the My Fellow Americans speech. Why hasn't he given it?
Why don't we have an executive order to go ahead and give us disclosure? We were supposed to get an executive memo announced last week that was going to have really stern punishments if people didn't go along with it. Where's the executive memo? You bring out a good question. Why is all this stuff being done verbally, Dave, versus why are we, why is it moving along in the way that it is now? With respect to the speech, things have just started. Give it some time. There's a lot of people who don't like Trump for who Trump is, but again, we just have to look at this from a bipartisan matter of saying, you know what, we've got someone to go ahead and bring out disclosure. If you want the big speech, give it some time. I'm sure he'll get up in front of the, may not be a speech completely dedicated to it, but he's mentioned this stuff going in other appearances he's had where he's given speeches since the whole thing started. But if you want to look back at it, who was the one who stirred this up and got this conversation finally going, Dave? It was Barack Obama. When he was in an interview and he said, yeah, aliens are real, right?
That is true.
Right. And then after that, we had Peter Ducey from Fox News going out there and asking him about that. He said, well, yeah, he basically violated national security, and I'm going to have to go ahead and declassify this stuff so he doesn't get in trouble. That opened the door, gave him the opportunity to get in there. And now it's going to move. Now, if you need to have the speech, then I would say if you can't see things are moving together, then now don't settle for the speech. Wait for the UFOs to come and land on the White House lawn when they're going to have the big, huge, MMA match. It's not going to happen. But if you look at it for the positives we're getting out of it, this president has talked about UFOs more than any other president before, for 46 prior presidents. No one's talked this much, Dave. No one's mentioned it so many times. No one's done stuff to try and move it forward. So I guess if you want to, wait for that big speech, you can wait. Eventually you'll hear some stuff getting out there. But from my perspective, seeing where stuff has been going back in antiquity to where we are now, the only way we're ever going to get disclosure is going to come from the president of the United States of America. You're not going to get it through Congress. The House and Senate do not have the power over the executive branch, over the Department of Energy, over the Department of War, and everyone else to get the information out here. Why? Because in 1947, within weeks after the crash at Roswell, we passed the National Security Act, where the United States went from the United States of America to the National Security State of America. And it took a lot of the rights, all the different things voters had, the way our country ran, how different stuff went, and it all put it behind this veil controlled by the executive branch. So it has roots going back, and we can get there, but we just have to work with what we have. You know what? If you want the speech, wait for the speech. But right now, based on what we're saying, what we really missed though, Dave? We got the videos, we got the drops, we got the files. You know what we didn't get out of all this that we should have gotten? Aliens.gov. I think that was a missile shot across the bow of the deep state saying, if you don't go ahead and start playing along and giving us information, I'm going to take what I've got and I'm going to put it out on aliens.gov. And it worked.
And we're still waiting. We're still waiting. But what would happen hypothetically if a different country did it? Japan. Japan just released their files.
Russia.
What if it was Russia? What if it was France or Italy or the UK? I mean, we know it's never going to happen in Ottawa because they can't tell their right from their left.
Oh, but it could happen in Alberta, though.
It could. I don't think so. But it could happen with another world leader.
Yeah.
Right? What would happen if that happened, do you think? Would it have any pull?
It would have given that foreign government the first place. They're the first ones to do it and start bringing it out and delivering the information that everyone's been looking for. It would have given them the leadership role. If Xi would have gone, President Xi from China had gone and brought that stuff out, it would have been phenomenal. Now, there's two different reasons why we would have had, when President Trump was on the plane coming back from China, he posted the video of him walking across the tarmac. You saw it with the gray alien, right?
Yes.
Tall one.
What do you think that was about?
One of two things. Number one, it's a message to China, potentially. Or two, the analytics on the website war.gov was falling off, and he's like, watch what I can do. I can bring all the people back again and give us the numbers we need, and he put it out. So it's either he's trying to promote his stuff, what's going on to the people of the world, or he's also promoting it to the world leader that he just met with. What do you think, Dave?
I was a little bit weirded out by it. in a
Okay.
good way, not in a bad way, but in a good way, because, you know, in trying to read between the lines of what he does and what he doesn't do is always something that I find confusing.
Yeah.
And the idea that he put that out there, my initial reaction was maybe in this next drop we're getting aliens, or we're on the road to it, or maybe like you said, he was coming back from China, that maybe that was part of the discussion, was aliens or ET technology or what have you. I mean, you have to wonder about that now.
But who else was on the plane with him at that time? Elon Musk with his Grok engine and everything else. You never know.
Well, here's the interesting part about it is Elon has been very silent about the whole aliens and UFO thing. He's mentioned it a couple of times just in bypassing tweets, you know, but he has been very silent on this. Why do you think he is? Because I do believe his rockets are being followed if every other rocket has been followed so far.
Because the deals that he signed with the federal government of the United States. That would be my, you know, if you think about it, where the majority of his money comes in from the military, I would guess. And what he does with NASA, some stuff and everything, you know, to go ahead and be a part of that, you're going to be subject to those two magic words, national security, folks. It's something you're going to have to deal with. And if that's the case, you know, you look at Lou Elizondo. He's a patriot. And I would say Elon Musk is also a patriot in his own way. And to understand that Lou Elizondo would never violate national security because it can cause damage to the country as they see it, as a patriot, they respect that requirement and will do whatever is required to put that forward. Now, Lou's even said he would do, if you want to call it, preserve national security over disclosure. Some people are just that, they're cut from that cloth. What do you I mean, that's where I kind of see it.
I would agree. I would agree with what you were saying there. You know, I mean, there are a lot of people who are, but there are a lot of people who are also very critical of what people like Lou Elizondo or David Grush or many others are doing right now.
You know, they're in a tough place. They've been exposed to things. There's risks in going and talking about the things that they've been exposed to. They're trying to work through the existing channels to get the information out that they want, and they're working within the restrictions of the box that they're in, but they're also promoting of wanting to break down the walls of this box and bring it out. You know?
And on that note, let's get to some audience questions here.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's start off with necessary dialogue here. Do you think disclosure will attract grifters and spoil the topic?
What do you think old ufology is about? The one that Lou Elizondo wanted to burn down. Yeah, there's grifters and everything. There's, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson. My God, he's flipped completely from being anti-UFO and everything else to, oh God, yeah, it's there and it's here and we can see it and everything. And I got a new book. Go ahead and buy it.
There's a lot of egg on his face right now.
Who's mine? No.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, go and play his videos back at 50%. It works really well. We did it today on today's show. Some people left him, but everyone else in the chat was laughing at it because he comes across sounding like, and he's really expressive in what he says, and it shows it off. And he just comes across a little, you know, you've seen Kamala and Trump played back that way. It's funny. And it actually makes his words, you know, digestible.
Do you fear disclosure will become political?
It is already. Half the people in the United States of America don't want to believe what Trump says because everything that he says, as I saw in the chat earlier, or in my chat earlier, is evil, that it's a lie. That's why old good Obama started this thing. It kind of crosses back and forth, but it is political because a lot of the things that are going on right now in the Secrets Task Force and all the people who are in the House of Representatives, who are the most vocal people about this? It's the Republicans. Where the heck are the Democrats? Really? Why can't they have a voice and project it like the Republicans can? This isn't. It's bipartisan. It's not one party or the next. So is there a problem with party politics in the United States? Yeah, we've got it everywhere, unfortunately. But yeah, we've got it really strong. And I just hope everybody who doesn't appreciate what's being brought forward can really see the big picture and think, my gosh, we've got someone who's in there. Yeah, you don't like him. You think he's crazy. But yes, he is, because he's crazy enough to go ahead and bring this information out.
Absolutely. Let's move on here. Is there a line in the sand that mankind will have to cross and have the aliens intervene?
Have they ever intervened? When we had the horrible tidal wave that decimated India and Thailand and everything, did God did the aliens intervene then? No. When we had the genocides that were going on in Germany during World War II, or the ones later in Herzegovina and other countries, have they ever stepped in? No. When we've had the horrible famines going on in Africa, have they come and helped? No. When we blew up and launched 2 different nuclear bombs or dropped them on Japan, did they stop us? No, they're not here for us. They're not here to help us. If anything, this is more like a farm than anything, or laboratory, or whatever you want to call it, because of where we're not the top of the food chain. They've got stuff that blows us out of the water, and there's nothing we can do to stop. And they've probably been here longer than us.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Mennonite Abe here. Do you give any credence to the whole psionics luring UFOs story?
I understand psionics. I understand meditation. I understand going out of body and going ahead and doing things. I went to civil mind control when I was 8 years old, and it helped me stop some of the things that were going on from the non-human intelligence. So is learning consciousness and everything very powerful? Yeah. Can we establish a link that goes between us and them? Yeah. So potentially, could we potentially establish a link between us and a craft? I don't know. I've never tried, but it could be fun, because if I could bring the one down and ride in it, Dave, I would bring it down and I would come and pick you up next, and we'd go have a blast. Why not?
True story, Thomas. True story.
Yeah.
2023, when Tim Senor was up here.
Yeah.
He filmed me doing it.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that we have that ability to do it, and it doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah. Okay. I was told this by one of the remote viewing people who work in the remote viewing community. I should share this on your show today. So this is something I haven't shared anywhere else. During my, I do a deep meditation 3 days a week, 4 days a week at least. And the one that happened on Tuesday, as I was getting into it and the crown chakra was coming up and putting all this stuff there, I had shadows, if you want to call it the outline, 3 heads, 1, 2, 3 grays coming in me, and it completely shut down everything that I was trying to do.
Wow.
So yeah, there is a psionic thing. There is a connection. You just have to be careful what you deal with and what you try to connect to, especially with CE5, because some things you can connect to, you cannot break that tie once it happens. And you can bring in experts, but they're going to come back and say, well, I've never had this happen. I'm trying to cut the tie that goes to you, and they told me I'm not allowed to do that and to go away.
Let's go to another question.
Yeah.
Let's go to T-Bone. Thomas, big fan of John Keel and Operation Trojan Horse. Where are you on the ultra-terrestrial theory?
I would change it to ancient terrestrials. And I would say the grays and everything else are potentially it, because I guess you're saying ultra-terrestrial would be a part of humankind that actually figured out how to go ahead and get past the disaster cycle that happens every 12,000, 24,000 years on the planet. And, let's say 80, 100,000, 200,000 years ago, they figured out how to do that, and they've advanced differently from humans. Grush kind of talked about something like that. That is a possibility that I'm not going to rule out. The other part we have is the ancient terrestrial, meaning the ETs, the different ones that have been here. They just didn't show up in 1947. They've been here on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years, if not longer. And we're their part of their, experiment or whatever the heck is going on. But it's not like they just got here. They're established. If you have bases, where are you going to put them? Where the humans can't get to. And also where it's safe. Where's the safest place you can do that? Underneath the bedrock of the oceans. You go to places other things can't get to. And if the earth gets sloshed up every 12,000 years and you have mile high tidal waves going and crashing over the surface, if you're here for long-term habitation, you go to places you can go ahead and survive. So yes, I understand the whole ultra-terrestrial theory, but I believe in ancient terrestrials potentially. And there's a big thing that goes on with the ones that are here for them to have their bases where we can't get to it, but also gives them the best protection that they're not going to get wiped out every so often.
Jeremy is asking, Thomas, have you heard any connections between the Epstein files, Zorro Ranch, and UFOs?
No, but I don't watch MSDNC enough or Rachel Maddow. No, I'm joking. I have. Some people have wanted to bring it up and just say, oh my God, the only reason we're getting this out is because they want to cover up the Epstein files. Okay. Why didn't they bring up the Epstein files when we had the last president in and Democrats control the House and the Senate, all the stuff they could have, or actually didn't. They had the last president they could have brought out. They didn't. So it's coming out now. We're getting disclosure. You can have the Epstein files, but that's its own thing. And, beyond that, I would hate to say, well, we're looking at this. That's more conspiracy than even than just UFOs, Dave.
That is always the truth. We got 3.5 minutes before we have to go to break. At the bottom of the hour from the YouTube channel Disclosure Tonight, host Thomas Fessler is with us here. So let's go over next to Jules here, who is asking, do you think Congress will pass the 2023 NDAA finally?
I think Jules is talking about the what is it again? It's not the NDAA, it's the Disclosure Act.
Yes.
That was supposed to come out from that Carl Nell had actually written. I don't think it's ever going to pass. Honestly, the deep state has too many ties, has too much money, and Congress is too freaking crooked to get there. So are we ever going to get the UAP Disclosure Act? I don't think so. Should they break it up into a whole bunch of small pieces that they could pass and bring in and make it more palatable, and the stuff that the deep state doesn't want to have come in, we can identify and then really fight for? Yeah. But it's been mishandled for 3 years plus at this point. When you had like Schumer and Rounds, they're the ones who put it out there. They gave like one little thing they said about it, and it was nothing else. People tried to track them down. They wouldn't say things about it. So it's like they put it out there in name only. But if they wanted it to pass, Dave, they would have had themselves on the podium at different places and different things, bringing it up all the time, that we need to pass this. We need to bring it across. We need the support of the Senate, and we need these particular people, count them out, who aren't going to vote for it. But it didn't happen. There wasn't, there was an effort to almost like, okay, here's your check, put it out there, but there wasn't the passion to make it happen. And I don't think we'll ever see that.
You don't think it'll change? You don't think it'll change considering what's happening now?
It might, but break it into smaller chunks. Make it so if the whole thing can't go, maybe we could get 2 out of 3. Maybe we could get 1 out of 3. But it's better to get a chunk at a time versus trying to get everything at once and it doesn't pass for whatever reason.
Well, that is something that we could do. Let's try and squeeze one more in here as we've got about a minute to left. This is from T-Bone. Thomas, what is your opinion on the missing ones? I'm going to assume he means the missing people who just have vanished.
Oh, the missing scientists and stuff. Unknown. There's a bunch that probably are missing or have passed because it just happened, but it may not be as nefarious as we may think, and we don't have enough information on a lot of it. What about the missing one, like Dave? What do you call it? Kevin Childress from the DOE. It's sad.
That's an
I don't
interesting
know.
case.
Hmm?
That one's going to be an interesting case.
Yeah, it is.
You know, we've got just running out of time here. You know, we're going to continue with audience questions when we return on Spaced Out Radio. It's always good to have Thomas Fessler back on this show. It's been way too long since we've had him here. He is someone who produces a very good show on the UFO topic on his YouTube channel called Disclosure Tonight. You definitely want to go over to that channel. You want to hit subscribe. You want to ring the bell. He gets thousands of people listening in each and every time. Go to youtube.com/Thomas Fessler with 2 S's in Fessler. Go do it. Just go do it.
Thank you, Dave.
Listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right. Quickly here, Hampton, welcome to SOR Chat. Bones, how you doing? Chat room's moving fast tonight. Very fast. Whistling Mike, nice to see you. Little Mikey, how you doing? And we are Jack, how you doing? So apparently it is Sensational Shelley's birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sensational Shelley. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Congratulations. Thomas, big question for you. What are you drinking tonight?
Rebel vodka. Rebel diet vodka. I actually diet Rebel and vodka. Absolutely.
Nice.
I go for the Kirkland Signature American brand, American version. It tastes better than Absolute or Sky. Washington State has the highest taxes in the United States for liquors, so it's like $23 for 1.75 liter. But the flavor profile is well worth every penny. Even like they have their their Canadian blended whiskey, phenomenal. But I'm not sure if we have that anymore.
Yeah. I haven't walked into a liquor store in about a year and a half.
Awesome.
Yeah. The amount that I drink, and I like a drink every now and again. Might have a couple tomorrow because my dad is coming up in the morning. It's his birthday tomorrow. My dad will be 77 tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I might make him a couple of what we call up here Caesars.
Nice.
Yeah. Have you ever had a Caesar?
No, I have not.
It is vodka with a shot of Tabasco, Clamato juice.
Yeah.
Throw a little pepper on there, some celery salt along the brim.
Yeah.
And then you can throw whatever vegetables you want in there. Usually a celery is good, or an asparagus or something along those lines.
It's called a Bloody Mary here in the United States.
It's a little bit different than the Bloody Mary.
Yeah, but kind of what you're talking about is Tabasco,
like a Bloody Mary.
juice and everything, the vodka, the other stuff that goes into it. It's really close, but it's close. They're kissing cousins.
Did you know, true story about the Caesar, that Las Vegas became the largest importer of the world of Clamato juice because the amount of Canadians who visit and ask for Caesars.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you know that Bob Chin's Crab House in Wheeling, Illinois, is the #1 consumer of Myers dark rum in the world? And why? Because this is a glass from there. They make the world's best Mai Tais. And it's all literally from the Mai Tai sales that they have that made them the #1 consumer of Myers dark rum.
That's actually kind of cool. Love little stories like that.
Yeah.
Robert Anthony, how you doing? He's saying, great to see Tomas.
Yeah.
Tomas. right. Am I missing anybody here?
I can give you the best recipe ever for a Long Island.
Starling Light, welcome to SOR chat. Yeah, pass it my way.
All right. You need a measure. Exactly the same ounce of gin, rum, and vodka. Boodles is actually good if you can get a gin that doesn't have like that really strong piney kind of a taste to it, and then you put that over ice. You do a little bit more. Is it a little bit more Coke than sweet and sour? You take it from one glass, pour it into the next, actually fresh squeezed lemon, put into it, and then you just pour it into the next glass, and it'll give you the exact same Long Island, no matter where you go in the world. And if you have the exact amounts of the three spirits, they cancel each other's flavor out, and it just tastes like literally iced tea, no matter how strong it is.
That's awesome.
I learned that one in the Outrigger Reef Hotel by the bartender there.
Wow.
He made a Long Island for me one time, and I went back to him and I was like, who in the heck made this? And he's like, I did. Why? I said, it's the best Long Island I've ever had. How did you make it?
And he gave you the recipe. Thomas, hold on right there. We're coming back in 10 seconds. Big thank you to T-Bone, Joe, Kitty, Benno, Mennonite, Abe, Steve, Necessary Dialogue, Dutch Hank, and Little Mikey. Thank you for the love. Here we go. We are into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in on this UFO night from Disclosure tonight. Our guest, Thomas Fessler, is here with us, and we're taking audience questions right now because I know a lot of you are wanting to know what is going on. And thank you, Thomas, for being here and being part of the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate being here with you and the Spaced Out Radio family.
Do me a favor. Tell our radio audience where they can find your YouTube channel.
Well, you can go ahead and just go to YouTube, search my name, Thomas Fessler, or Disclosure Tonight, and you'll find it.
It's that easy. It's just that easy. And the only thing he asks for in return, hit subscribe.
Yeah.
Ring the bell. That's good for you.
And you know what? I give people a double their money back guarantee on subscribing because it costs absolutely no money to go ahead and subscribe. If you don't like it, I'll give you double your money back.
I've never tried that one.
There you go.
I'm going to have to steal that one from you. Yeah. All right, let's go right to our audience questions here. Derek in Florida is asking, why do you think other countries aren't talking about disclosure more? Why is it the USA? Is it because the USA always takes the lead?
Maybe because how we spend our defense dollars and we tell them what to talk about and what not to talk about, and it's basically amounts to bribery. But irrespective of that, I mean, who was it? There was counterespionage going on by Australia back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s when all the different stuff was going on, and they released like hundreds of pages of documents of their research into the cover-up of the United States and what we've been going on for years. It was so revealing. I mean, I had a week of shows just to go ahead and talk about this, multiple hours a night going through it. And Australia has a chance to talk about it. They've been watching what we've been doing. They've been involved with us, but they're a big military partner from the Five Eyes. They're not going to do it. We've got Japan. Japan actually stepped forward. They're not part of the Five Eyes. They're seeing what's going on, what we're bringing out, and they want to kind of join in and start bringing their own stuff out, which is great. Which brings us to a couple days later, then we've got more stuff now going on in France. Now, France, with Gaipan and ICER and the different organizations they have, they've been researching UFOs since, like, was it, Dave, the 60s or 70s? And they've never stopped. So they're starting to their legislators and people are starting to talk about it and having symposiums and people coming and getting there. So, you know, I guess we've been waiting for the United States. And if United States weren't going to do it, I was hoping China would do it. Because if we're not going to do it, someone else is going to do it. And as soon as you get one other person doing it, they're all going to want to do it. Reminds me of something Mel Brooks would say. But it's the truth. So, United States is leading probably for the reason that we either have, for whatever reason it is, we are. And thank God we're doing it. Thank God we're trying to bring out the information. I just want it to continue. And, let's get another country, then another country, and more people bringing it out. Let's make it a competition. Who can bring out the best information? Who's got the biggest piece of disclosure to show off? That's what it's going to come to. I hope we get there, Dave.
I wonder if we will. I wonder if we'll actually get that opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
hope so. Hope we get to the point too where we can go outside and look, and all of a sudden they turn off all their cloaking and we can see all the things that are going on around us and freak everybody out.
exactly.
We need that.
We do. And we need more people just going out aside to not only enjoying a beautiful night of the stars, unless you live on the West Coast where it's always raining, and just go enjoy the heavens above, man, because it's pretty beautiful if you take the time. And a lot of people have forgotten about that.
And if you take this use it to take pictures, not to frickin' look at. The thing is, you need to go outside and look up.
Jules is asking, Thomas, do you think they will get around to the experiencers in congressional testimony or the releases of information in any non-stigma inducing way?
I think we can get to the part of the information coming out without a stigma. The problem with experiencers, and me being one of them and having health effects from it, it's screwed up my immune system completely. Whenever I've gone to the hospital, they have always looked at my immune system and like, you're what do you call it? Inconclusive but abnormal. We have no idea what's going on with you. And it's been that way since the doctor saw this at the age of 5 before I went, or like 6 years old, and looked at my fingernails. It screws with things. So, but unless you have proof, unless you have stuff to back it up, the stories that I have, Dave, of what I went through, the accounting of it is just a story because there's no truth. I mean, there's no truth. There's no facts. There's nothing. There's no pictures that are there. There's no videos. There's no scientific information that goes along with it. I'd love to have experiencers come forward, but if we have experiencers and they have medical things, different stuff we can go ahead and prove and get there. Yes, absolutely.
I want to see it happen. I don't think it'll happen, because they still want to play this stigma while they can, that people who get abducted by aliens are people who believe in every conspiracy theory that's out there. They believe that, the aliens are coming to get them. The government's coming to take their guns. They are usually brought up as, night shift workers at the local convenience store. That's never made a quarter more than minimum wage.
Yeah.
That's the attitude that the majority of people have stigmatized experiencers as. And you have to live in a southern state. They don't realize that it's doctors from New York, lawyers from Seattle, construction workers from Michigan, football players, hockey players, priests.
I think the lawyers from Pennsylvania, but that's besides the point.
Exactly. But you get the point that I'm getting at. They don't want to have the notion, Thomas, that anybody is and everybody can be an experiencer. Your credentials don't matter. The aliens are coming to get you.
And there's nothing you can do to stop it.
That is very true. That is very true.
It's not your choice. It's not your opportunity. It's theirs.
Let's go to Goot here. Forgotten recently missing people shows perfect agenda and a mass mind control. Why would they disclose and risk themselves?
Forgotten recently missing people shows perfect agenda and mass mind control. Why?
Because they did get into MK Ultra a little bit. I think that's kind of where it's going.
I'm not an expert on MK Ultra. I have to leave that to someone like not me.
Not a problem.
I don't know.
We can move on.
Yes.
Let's go to Jules. What about whistleblower protections?
Depends on what they've done. It's always a deal you're going to have to make with the prosecutor for coming out. If you're just someone who was part of it and everything else, and you're just going ahead and trying to bring information forward about money or financial stuff, whatever it is, that's one thing. But if you've been actually gone and you eliminated people or different things for it, but you follow the direction of something else, you're still going to have to pay a bit for what you did, but it's not going to be as it could be. There should not be a get out of jail free card for people that have been going and doing this to our society and to our world. There should be a price they pay. Flat out.
I have someone close who is in a whistleblower group on Discord.
Yeah.
Or pardon me, not on Discord, on Signal.
Oh yeah.
And the majority of these people have not come out.
Yeah.
They're not sure now that they even want to come out because of all the harassment, because Dylan Borland getting fired when he came out.
Well, look at the stuff that happened with Lou getting fired and different things that went on in different pieces. There's been a lot of retribution about it. David Grush is another example. Right?
Is there a purpose?
Well, there is whistleblower protections and anti-retaliation that's in place within the federal government. The part is just being able to go ahead and get it there. But once you're fighting against an organization. So I guess it depends on the whistleblowers, who they are, what they're involved in. But if they really committed some serious crimes, I would go for a reduction potentially because they're coming forward as a whistleblower.
I'm wondering if it's even safe, though, even with the protection.
Oh, did Dylan Borland look safe on the stage in Oregon at the Weaponized podcast when Jeremy was bringing up the other stuff that was leaked to him from the DNI, and then it was about his testimony in the DNI in a skiff? He did not look comfortable. He was just like he was reeling from that situation, and it's nice for Jeremy to go ahead and leak that about the guy who's sitting right there and then ask him, what about this? It has to go back to that person from the DNI who may be in your Signal group, who actually leaked that information out, who put this guy at risk. And people like that, you know what? Either though it's nice to go ahead and put some stuff out, but if you're putting people's life at risk, you don't deserve any protections and you deserve to go to jail. Flat out.
Look at you getting all angry on that. That's
well,
nice.
You have to look at this. If someone is saying something to get some information out, you don't put someone's life at risk. But if they're doing it and they're a part of this group and everything else, and they're trying to get there, and I'm aware of someone from that particular situation, from a particular group that's out there from that particular office. And if that's the person who did it, that guy needs to go to prison, flat out. You don't, leak some certain stuff, but if you do certain things, you cross a line, you're a leaker, you have committed treason and deserve to be punished for it. Flat out. I mean, what would happen if someone wanted to go ahead and they put your life in jeopardy, or your wife's life in jeopardy?
I agree with you. And too much of that is happening. The problem is, with information and disinformation agents and covert operations, they're not afraid to eat their own sometime, Thomas.
Yeah. So I get it. I see it. But sometimes you just have to be careful in what you're trying to do when you blow the whistle. But these aren't even whistleblowers. These are leakers.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Devin would like to know your thoughts on aliens actually coming here. And are they coming here from the ocean or from the underground?
I would put my hands on ocean. I would say they're already established bases on our ocean, beneath our ocean floor. And the question comes down to, Dave, how many are here and how long have they been there? And are they keeping it the same numbers, or do they keep on increasing it? Are we looking at hundreds? Are we looking at thousands? Are we looking at hundreds of thousands? Are we looking at millions? Who knows how many are actually here, how big their installations are. So yeah, you've got those things for that one, because if you have one type of alien, Dave, there's going to be 2, 3 or 4 or whatever. So depending on the faction of what's going on or the race that's here, yeah, this is not just our world. We share it with something else.
We continue on with Thomas Fessler from Disclosure Tonight on YouTube tonight. And Thomas, as we start to move forward with this, we are expecting more videos to come out. We are expecting a lot of more information. What are you hearing of what may come out with these videos and information regarding it? Is it just going to be more UFO reports, sightings, redacted reports? What do you think?
We're going to get reports. We'll get pictures. We'll get videos. We'll get some good information that's going to come across. But we've been told by Representative Tim Burchett and Eric Burleson, both have admitted it, that there's now going to be disinformation that's being added to this stuff that's knowingly not what it is, and they're not going to go ahead and label it as such, to go ahead and start misleading the public in the effort to bring out the truth, which blows my mind. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? It just doesn't make sense unless they've talked about it. You've got the deep state who's pushing against bringing out the truth. They don't want it to come forward, but I think our president's strong enough to get pushed beyond that. So may it be delayed or slowed down a little bit? Yeah, but are we going to get it in the end? Probably.
Do you think we will then see an increase in disinformation agents getting on places like social media to talk about this?
Well,
I mean, many will say it's already happening and has been happening for a while.
Well, you got you got the RO, you got the DOD, you've got the people who are going and trying to go ahead and keep the truth from coming out. They're always going to be there to fight against it. All we can do is persevere.
I asked you this question one way a little bit earlier. I'm going to ask it a different way. Where is the truth?
Where is the truth? The executive branch. The executive branch includes the office of the president and all the 3-letter agencies that surround him. That's where the truth is maintained. It's kept from Congress. It's kept from oversight. And some of the things that are going on are actually kept from the president, who actually the executive branch oversees all this stuff. So that's where the secret is kept. It's kept within the executive branch from the federal government of the United States. And the only way we're going to ever get disclosure is going to have to come from the president of the United States, like we're getting now. It's a perfect storm.
On Fox News recently, Jesse Waters came out basically saying that, they have crash retrievals from 4 different alien species: the Greys, the Mantids, the Nordics, and the Reptilians. When you hear a story like that as an experiencer and as a broadcaster of this subject, what do you take from something like that?
Show me the proof. Show me the proof. We've been hearing these stories forever, Dave. Just the stories that have been in the area of UFOs and the research and everything goes along with it. We've heard about these races for the longest time. This is just the sledge of the bottom of disclosure of ufology reaching up into mass media. And we're starting to hear some of these stories coming from different people, but it's the people in the media who don't know how to, what do you call it?
Cover this.
Know who to believe. There's no BS meter for them to go ahead and say, "Oh my God." Yeah.
So do you think then that let me rephrase that. Do you think then that the proof is going to be released? Because we're hearing, and like I've been saying for a while here, I mentioned it earlier, we're hearing a lot of WWE promos from these guys. Okay, hyping it up, basically saying, that, you got to hug your children a little bit more. You got to be thankful for what you have. Burchett coming out a few weeks ago saying, if the public has seen what I have seen, they'd set the world on fire. It's like we're preparing for The Undertaker versus Mankind in Hell in a Cell again.
I vote for Hulk Hogan and all that stuff. But coming into that, situation. It's sensationalism to a degree, but you're also talking about Lou recently go hug your family, do other things. He almost died in a horrible accident.
I get
And
that.
he has a TBI coming out of it, and he has a bit different perspective and how he talks about this stuff now. If you consider what he went through and what he experienced, I could see why you'd get there. Now, the stuff from Burchett, he's a straight shooter. If there's anyone in the House of Representatives that talk about disclosure or everything, if someone says, yes, it's a cover up and talks about the stuff that he would see, I would go to him. And if we could bring John Kennedy in from the Senate, get those two together to go ahead and talk about it. And they're just they're two people who talk in similar manners, but they try to be honest in what's coming out of it. So if Burchett said, yeah, what I would see this, and it would go ahead and set the country on fire for different things of what it was. It's because it's that remarkable of a video. And he's just trying to describe it in terms without violating national security. Now, Burleson is more a lot of talk, and there's just a lot of circular things going around from Burleson, and I don't have that same kind of a love or feeling. He's doing great stuff, but I think Tim is where it's at, and then you got Angelina Luna, who's more for the shock and awe and different things, and to show it because she's got an agenda. She's using UFOs for that, and it's going to help her step to other bigger things down the road.
You bring up an interesting point there. Is it all a show?
No, not at all. It's a reality and it's a fact, and we have people in office who are reacting to it and not just putting their heads in the sand and ignoring it. That's the best part. They're engaging. They're talking about it. They're trying to get the word out for everybody. Not necessarily the best sometimes, but there's an effort being put forward.
There really is. There really is. We got about 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go before we have to say goodnight to Thomas Fessler from Disclosure Tonight on YouTube, which we highly suggest all of you go and hit subscribe on. Thomas, what's the next 6 months in this field look like? Where are we going with this?
Disclosure moves forward. We're at a point now where we're getting past denial and we're coming into reality. We're coming into fact. And we're coming into a point in time where we can start having a regular release of parts of these tens of millions of files that are out there that we're going to be able to dig into. And even if they don't give us the analysis, the people in the community around the world will start connecting the dots that are there that the government isn't connecting for us. It's a start. It's slow, but maybe we need something slow. But I'm looking forward to the acceleration and more data coming out, and more importantly, not just more data, but the improvement of the quality of data that we're able to go ahead and look at and analyze. And I just hope we're not going to get into this point where all the videos, all the imagery we get is so redacted. It just comes down to looking at dots moving around. We're trying to figure out what's going on, and the real information that should be available to us is still being classified, which could explain why we don't have the executive order or that executive memo at this point.
Do we see a time where the videos start looking a little bit more real, where the information is less redacted? Will that happen this year?
Well, we're in May. We have good 8 months of the 8 months plus to get the data there. I would hope if they're releasing a tranche of information every 2 weeks going forward, I would hope over 8 months from now, Dave, that we've got something good by then.
I don't know if we will. I want to. I want to believe, man.
Yeah, you know what? Don't set your expectations too high. Expect we're going to get nothing, and when we get something, we celebrate. And that's the way I've been dealing with it.
And I will say this, because Thomas, I've always been very negative on anything that the government does. But when I saw the reports come out a couple of weeks ago, I was very excited.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought, you know what? We are trending in the proper direction here. I'm curious to see what happens with the next tranche that comes out.
Yep.
Okay. I'm hoping there are videos out there that are going to blow our minds, not dots, but I got the feeling we're going to get dots.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as the information, we can criticize the information as much as we want. But as long as that information is still flowing, it's a positive.
Right.
And that's the way we have to take it right now. Thomas, do me a favor. Tell everybody where they can find Disclosure Tonight.
Go ahead and go to YouTube and look for Thomas Fessler or Disclosure Tonight. And you'll find the channel and have a fun time.
Thomas, we appreciate you coming back on Spaced Out Radio. Let's do it again very, very soon. Coming up in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will kick things off. The UFO Report follows that up. We'll be right back, everybody.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
I'll be right back.
Well, I got to get ready for the next hour, but thank you, buddy.
Everybody.
We'll talk soon, okay?
Absolutely. Can't wait to have you on Disclosure Tonight. Take care, Dave.
All right, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
What the hell?
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, we got about a minute to go here before we launch with Swamp Dweller. And I don't know if Grant's going to make it. I haven't heard from him tonight. Hope he's okay. I know his leg has been bugging him lately. So let's continue the audience questions here. Okay, because it's just going to be you and me. Let's continue the audience questions. All right. And we'll get into some UFO stories as well. Thank you to T-Bone, Joe, Kitty Cattywhack, Benno, Mennonite Abe, Steve, Necessary Dialogue, Dutch Hank, Little Mikey, and T-Bone a second time for the super chats. We greatly appreciate it. Swamp Dweller is coming up here, and we're going to rock and roll from there, everybody. Get your questions in capital letters. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Ecmnesia. Ecmnesia is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam says the password each and every night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
I'm not sure if this is what you would consider terrifying, but it is certainly bizarre. I don't know if it's astral projection, but what I do know is that many times throughout my life, I've left my body, usually during sleep, flying to unknown places. I met people on my journeys. They're usually folks that are in need of something. Let me preface this by saying I'm a middle-aged man and I've had experiences with the paranormal all my life. I have dealt with the ghosts, demons, and angels. I know it sounds unbelievable, but it's true. During one of my out-of-body experiences, I was flying over Casper, Wyoming, when I literally slammed into a young lady who was also flying over the city. She told me she was sent to find me. I was a little more than confused, to be honest. I asked why she was sent to find me, and she replied her mother sent her because she needed my help. The next thing I know, my alarm clock was going off and I was back home. I just assumed I had dreamt the whole thing. 3 days later, my car stalls in front of a small apartment building. I go up to one of the units to see if I could use their phone to call my boyfriend. Now keep in mind, this was before cell phones were a thing. I knock on the door and nearly fall backwards in shock. The person standing at the door was the same girl I ran into before. She looked at me with the same look of shock and confusion and whispered my name. I simply nodded yes and said, "You must be Zoe." She invited me in and introduced me to her mother. Her mother was more than excited and bewildered to see me, as she had been looking for me. A friend of hers had told her that I could help her find a loved one she had been trying to find. I happened to know the loved one and was able to reconnect the two after nearly 10 years. Now fast forward about 5 years or so. I was living in Denver, Colorado, when I was once again out of my body and flying over the industrial part of the city when I landed in an alley. I met a woman with flaming red hair and was dressed in a leather-type catsuit. I will call her Joan for privacy's sake. Anyway, Joan told me God has sent me to help her with her ministry. She was a minister for the gay community at the time. I thought that was obscure considering I was a gay man, and why would God want me to help her ministry? Exactly 3 days later, I was at work waiting tables, when all of a sudden, guess who comes to the door of the restaurant but Joan? She walked right up to me and handed me her business card. She winked at me, called me by name, and insisted I call her after I got off of work. Out of curiosity, I did. I was apprehensive at first, but figured there had been a reason we had met 3 days after that event. Joan told me she had a dream. She was fishing and God spoke to her, telling her that she was about to reel in a fish, like she had never seen before. She said God told her I was exactly what she needed for her ministry. That's when I knew it was more than just a dream. I told Joan about my experiences with the paranormal and how I would meet others on these flights, and then meet them in person exactly 3 days later. Joan told me I was very prophetic and a gifted seer. I kind of laughed it off at first. She told me about her ministry and that she was a deliverance minister. She told me that she had dealt with demons, and that is why she needed me. I was uncomfortable with the idea, to say the least. I had what she called the gift of discernment. This is one of the reasons I was always under demonic attack, because they know I know their names, and that is why they had never been able to touch or harm me in any way. When I would have those run-ins with the demons, I would call them by name and send them away. Fast forward a few weeks, Joan asked me to sit in on a deliverance session she was going to have with a young drag queen from the neighborhood. I reluctantly agreed to do so. When I arrived, I was surprised to see that the drag queen was a coworker of mine. As the session began, this tiny little flamer of a guy began to speak in multiple voices. I literally began to climb the back of the couch and up the wall to get away from this guy. Joan began to talk to this demon and demanded it leave this young man. The demon hissed and laughed at her, telling her she had no authority. Joan spoke calmly yet firmly. She informed the demon its name gave her authority over it. Again, It laughed and mocked her. It refused to give her its name. Keep in mind, I'm still against the wall, watching all of this utter horror. This was not Hollywood. This was fucking real, and my heart was pounding so bad, I thought it would shatter my rib cage. Then, out of nowhere, the demon's name popped into my head. And without even a thought, I yelled out its name. That's when the realization of why I was there hit me like a freight train. I stepped off the couch and stood next to Joan. I was still shaking like a leaf, but again, I spoke the demon's name. Joan then continued with her deliverance session, and using the demon's name was able to drive it out of the poor little guy. Now I know this all sounds like something straight out of Hollywood, and I would rather it was. However, these are all actual and factual events. I have so many more stories to share with all of you, but that's saved for another time. Back to my original question. So is what I experienced while flying astral projection or something else? Can anybody help me figure this out?
Well, that one was a little bit dark. A little bit dark there. But that's what you get with Swamp Dweller. Yeah. That one was eerie. Absolutely eerie. But hey, we're going to run with it. Swamp Dweller, you can find his channel on YouTube. Great, great entertainment. Thousands of stories just for you to listen to each and every day and night. And now we're going to get to a few more audience questions here. We're going to continue the UFO talk because this is something that is very, very important for us to discuss here. Very important as we continue on. And we're going to continue on with some audience questions here. Jose is asking, Dave, do you really think Donald Trump cares about aliens or UFOs? Personally, no. No, I don't. But I think, whether as Thomas said, this is a bipartisan topic when it comes to UFOs. It really is bipartisan. And I think there are enough people within his inner circle, including his family, who are like, this is real. This is what's going on. I think he's more of a five senses kind of guy. I really do. I think he's a five senses kind of guy who is somebody who, if it isn't about making money or making in his way, making the country better in his mind, then that really is what the story is about. I really do believe that. But on the flip side, I don't know if he really knows much as we think him or any president may know. Do they know it's probably happening? Sure. They probably know that there are some sort of, things happening in the sky or maybe on the ground or obviously in the water. But how far they want to go with it, that is the big question. Any other questions? No? All right. One sec here. All right. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to sit with you guys for a little bit here. I was not prepared for Grant not to be here. So I'm going to have to edit in. I'm going to have to edit in something here. So we'll just hang out. And with that absolutely different Swamp Dweller story, I can't play that on the radio. So we'll have to edit that part out. Okay. So let's just go like this. Keep your questions coming. I'll be here for a little bit here. Let's see here. First contact. Welcome to our chat room. Dave, do you think we should attempt to contact UFOs ourselves? And the reason why I changed it from UFO to UFO from UAP, because I believe we are looking for UFOs, not man-made objects, which are UAP. Yes, why not? Why not? Summoning is one of our natural gifts. And when you can make that connection, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you have to put out the intention that you want something positive to happen. You don't want anything that's going to affect something negatively. Like, look, you just don't go out there and say, look, I don't really care who comes in. I just want to see you answer my questions. Well, you know what? It's just like wild animals. You don't go into the jungles of Africa or the plains of Africa and say, hey, I want to see a lion, any lion, and I'm going to get out and try and pet it. That's not really what you do. You got to put your intentions out there. If you want the good ones, you gotta do it. Let's see here. Dave, one last question. Are you going to do any Dogman shows? Yes, because I love the Dogman. Great shows. All right. While we're waiting, I'm going to download something here. All right. What is the single biggest non-public barrier to disclosure that insiders refuse to admit? The controlled narrative that they don't know that it's going on. A classic example of that hidden files is NASA. NASA has lied about this subject for decades. The farce of the report that they did where they alleged these 10 people or 12 people were paid in total $100,000 to do a study on it. And said, they kind of came out snickering and laughing that they didn't find anything. That is a problem. That is a problem. And when you have things like that happen, there are people out there who know a lot more than what they are saying. So when you have that happen and you have people who are lying to you, how deep does that lie go? And they can hide behind national security. They can hide behind anything they want. But in the end, they're lying to the people. They really are. And that's not healthy for trying to bring this subject to light. It really isn't. I think this is the one. And the other thing too about that, as I think about that question, is, they've made a mockery of people who have claimed things have happened. We have to remember that as well. They've made a mockery of things that we're not supposed to allegedly know. They've called people crazy. They've called people lunatics, tinfoil hat wearing, lack of education type people, right? The old speech of little green men and flying saucers. How many times does that come up? Right? Give me 2 seconds here, guys. Is the government hiding technology, or are they hiding the implications of technology? I think both. I don't think. Let me rephrase that for a minute. I don't think they're lying about hiding the technology, because I don't think they have it. They've already dispersed it to many different private organizations and companies. So technically, are they lying? Yes. But do they have anything? No, I don't believe they do. Give me 2 seconds.
Into the outer space thing or the alien thing, MUFON is just, it's worth it. It's like $50 a year, but you get access to all this stuff. You get newsletters. It's very important.
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's
What I'm
best
doing
kept
right now,
secrets.
guys, is I'm just editing some audio here to save myself a little bit of trouble here. Because in Radio Land, I have to time everything out for our shows. And when you don't have it timed out, it doesn't sound very good. All right. There we go. Hillbilly Herb. If you could only have one tape for the rest of your life, Duck, Gorilla, Scotch, Green Painters, which would you choose? I'm a good old-fashioned duct tape. Even though I don't have a single roll in my house. I don't. Scotch tape. Go through a lot of Scotch tape. I'm somebody who loves to wrap Christmas presents. That's what I do. Okay, give me 2 seconds here, guys. If you're listening on the podcast and radio side, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for being with us. We are cutting this story short tonight, but we will be back very, very quickly for another one. So stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio will be back with you tomorrow night, everybody. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I will be on WABC here at the top of the hour. And we will go from there. So we grab that. Don't save that. All right, next question. Is there a line in the sand that mankind will cross and have to aliens intervene? No, I don't think so. Unless it's full on nuclear war. But you never know. They may want us because we're a violent species. Paramarv, in your opinion, who has the most to lose from full disclosure and why? I think they are worried about a potential collapse of the government. If true disclosure happened, full disclosure, not the confirmation that we are getting right now, okay, I think that we would be able to, see really bad things happen within the government. Really bad things. Let me just see here. I'm sorry, guys. If my answers are a little short and I seem a little trite right now, it's because I wasn't prepared for hour 3 to go like this. Blue Skies, how you doing? Oh, by the way, you know how the other night, if you were listening on, I think it was Friday night last week, or what is it, Monday? Whenever, when I was kind of going off because somebody made a really rude comment in our chat room. Really, really rude. And kind of went off about that. I had somebody else from our chat room do that today. This time they didn't do it in front of you guys. They were chicken shit enough to actually do it on Facebook. See if I can find it here. I think I really where is it here? Maybe I can find it. I think I erased the comment because it was rude. Our good friend Mike Rivers never said anything bad to him. Always said hi. He super chatted about once or twice a week. Then all of a sudden, he puts 100% fucks up everything. 100% perfect fucking score. It's too fucking stressful watching this show every single night. I think he's been drinking or something, but he was very, very rude about it. Very rude about it. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I don't get people sometimes. Like, it's my fault. You know what? I'm not a podcast. I'm here 5 nights a week for a radio show. I don't even have to do the YouTube thing. I do it because I love it, and I know you guys love it too. Right? I got 8 radio stations that think that we're great for their nighttime audience. Zachariah, how you doing? You know, but these chicken shit hit and runners like that who think that, you know, whatever's pissed them off that day that they need to take it out on me. Whatever. You know, I have, so just so you guys, one of the lessons that I've learned in radio, okay? One of the lessons I've learned in radio over the years, and I still have to be reminded of this every once in a while. Not everybody listens every night. Not everybody is as dedicated as our YouTube audience. Okay. And every night you have to kind of be a little bit repetitive so that way people can understand what you're talking about, what you're dealing with, and how you are breaking it down. Every show also has its niche. So for instance, my niche really isn't about the government or whatever. My issue is about people. You guys are my people. Right? You guys are the ones who have personal encounters that cannot be explained. Okay? You have personal inquiries about what is going on. And I try and be a voice for that. And watching some people, and it doesn't happen often, but every few months, it's like people do a deep dive. And they're at a point of no return. And they feel that, you know, and it's not just me, guys. It's a lot of different hosts out there. They think they could just take everything out on us. Right? Like it's our fault. It's our fault they don't like our topics, even though they have the opportunity to tune out. It's okay if you don't listen to a show every now and again. It's okay if you miss a bunch and then come back. It's quite okay. Right? But for some reason, I'm an asshole because of it. And I will reiterate what I said the other night. I'm not going to go into a big diatribe here. Okay? But I'll reiterate what I said. You guys don't know the type of day that I had or anybody has had. So if you've had a bad day and you feel like you need to take it out on me because I'm just a radio host on a YouTube channel, on a public forum, and you feel that you got to take it out on my ass because of it, that's your issue, not mine. I ain't wearing your baggage. Sorry. Not wearing your baggage. And I'm not doing, and thank you, Jose. Jose says, I appreciate the hard work. Thank you. I do appreciate that. We do work hard. As a team here, we all work hard. We do. You know? We do. Archon, how you doing? But it's like, hi, Ozzy Ange, how are you? Right? But people don't understand our format. See, a lot of you, and this is not insulting whatsoever, but as the medium has changed, okay, as the medium has changed from everybody listening to radio broadcasts going into now what we call podcasting or, you know, social media or whatever it may be. It's changed the game because it's given, the beautiful part about it is it's given everybody a voice. So there's something for everybody out there. There really is. Okay, there's something for everybody. But if you disagree with somebody, guess what? You don't have to tune in. Like Jules says here. I find it always strange and telling when they get pissed off about the moderating. They often blame me, whether it's me or not. It's weird. Let it roll off. Most everyone here are beautiful. I agree with you. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And race fan, you're right. You're right. I just find it funny that you know, somebody like Mike Rivers here had to going to play the role of hero. He's a hero tonight. Okay. And he's a hero in his own mind who probably had a bad day, but felt that they just needed to take it out on me. I do things a little bit differently because I'm not a podcast. Okay. As you guys have heard me say over the years. And trust me, I will say this. If I had time in my day, to format this show the way I want it to sound, it would be different. It would totally be different. Not much different, but there would be big differences. For instance, guests, probably we'd do 2 guests a night rather than 1. We'd get into a whole bunch of different things, you know. It would be formatted differently. But because I don't have the time, because I work a full-time job, which pays my bills, keeps a roof over my head and food on my table. And I'm very thankful for that job. But if I could do this full time, it would be much different. It'd be way more different. So I'm not here to please everybody. I know I'm not going to please everybody. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. But I will try to be better. SWR 4. This should be SWR 2. That's all I can say is, you know, I'm trying my best. And I know you guys get that. I do. It's really cool. That's really, really cool. Oh, you guys want to see something cool? Let me see if I can bring this up. 1 second here. I don't think I've showed you guys this. Talked about it. I don't think I've showed you this yet. Maybe I did, but it just didn't come out clearly. For those of you who haven't seen it, where do I go? Okay, I go here. Let's go here. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. Sorry, people. Wrong button. Hopefully this works. I don't know if you can see that properly, but there's actually a ghost cat in that circle there. That was from our tour the other night. Black ghost cat. Can you see that okay? Now, I have the before photo of this. I do. I do have the before photo of this. And you can actually see how there is no shadow there. That happened on our ghost tour the other night. I think that's pretty freaking cool. I do. Almost had that. Perfect. Jose, I will never do a pre-record. Ever. If I get into pre-record, I will quit. To be blunt. This is taken at the 108 Mile Heritage Site where I run my company, Haunted 108. Now, I will show you. Let me see if I can download the other. Oh, goodness, wrong button again. See if I can download the other one to show you guys that I don't think this one has it. Okay, there's the other one. Okay, so you can see there's nothing there. Or does that one not have it? Goodness, I can't tell. That's a bad photo. But there is a photo that was taken right before that that shows that there was nothing there prior. All right, that's number 3. Let's go to number 4 now. It's actually really cool. Paste, go here. And I'll go like this. Push that to there. And this will become SOR. Replace, yes. Replace. Come on. Where did our chat go here? New comments. There they are. My chat disappeared there for a second. Blackthorn, how you doing? Nice to see you. All right, we got it all taken care of now. Thomas was great tonight, wasn't he? Is that 8? That's 8. Good. That's still empty. here now. There we go. Put those in there. We can get out of. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll go here. There we go. Close that out. Close that out. All right. Tomorrow night on the show, because I am going to go get ready here for our good friend Walter. Tomorrow night on the show, Darcy Weir will be here to talk about NASA and the way they have lied over the years. How cool is that going to be? That will be fun. And we'll get to that tomorrow. Sent. And thank you to our super chatters tonight. T-Bone ×2, Little Mikey, Mennonite Abe, Joe, the Cosmic One, Steve, Kitty, Necessary Dialogue, Dutch Hank, and Benno. Sorry about hour 3 tonight, guys. I apologize about that. I'll figure out what's going on. To the rest of you, thank you for your love. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.